In this video, we got another episode of this series where I rate and improve your guys' teams. You guys will send me your teams on Twitter at x7tanaka. I'll put out a tweet maybe once every couple days asking for squads, and then you guys reply to that tweet with your team to have a chance to be featured in one of these videos. But if you guys also want to comment down your team down below in the YouTube comment section, I'll try to get to as many comments as possible and give you guys my best suggestions to help improve your guys' team. So if you guys want to, just comment down your team down below and how much MT you guys have in the YouTube comment section so I can give you guys my best suggestions. But looking at the first squad here in the video comes in from Zach. He says you'll have around 150,000 MT after you sell some cards, but looking for a replacement for Sengun, and he does play on next gen. So looking at the squad for the rating out of 10, I would say probably like a solid 8.5, a very well-rounded team, no real big flaws other than I would say like Sengun and Glenn Rice. Both those cards I'd probably try to get rid of, and maybe Kevin Garnett as well. But for your upgrades, I would say 150,000 MT, I would go ahead and just use Huda Turkoglu over Sengun. I do think he's a lot better at the point guard position. If you want to get a better backup point guard, you want to go for a Jalen Rose. I think he's a great option. For your backup shooting guard position though, I would definitely look to get a Ricky Davis, maybe a Richard Jefferson, a Luol Deng. I think all of those cards will be a lot better than Glenn Rice off the bench. And then for your starting small forward position, I do like AK-47 a lot more than Danny Ferry, and I also think Bob Pettit could maybe even play at that starting small forward spot, or maybe start Scalabrine and then bring Bob Pettit off the bench. You can maybe also look to get a Taco Fall if you want to go for that one big upgrade, because Hakeem Olajuwon starting center probably isn't the best. So if you want to go for Taco Fall, maybe you save up a little bit more. You go Taco Fall starting power forward, and then you bring Thurl Bailey off the bench at the backup four, and then you have Taco and Hakeem in your front court. I do think that makes your squad a whole lot better. So those are my suggestions for your squad, but all around a pretty decent team to start off with. Looking at the next squad here coming in from Lawless, I think it's how you say his name. He's got 500,000 MT. All the cards apart from Hakeem are tradable, so all these cards you can sell. I probably wouldn't sell most of these cards except for maybe Devin Booker, like unless you're holding on to Booker just because you like using him and you think he's a really fun point guard to use. He goes for way too much MT. Like I think Huda Turkoglu should just play your backup point guard position. I would definitely, in my opinion, sell Devin Booker, save that like what 300,000. I'm not even sure how much he goes for, but definitely play Huda Turkoglu at the backup point guard spot. For your shooting guard position, I like Vince Carter for your backup too. I think Ricky Davis could definitely play that backup shooting guard spot. I think that's perfectly fine. Your two small forwards are great with Thurl Bailey and Brian Scalabrine. I like Dirk Nowitzki. I like Hakeem. What I would do personally though is I would go your starting power forward be Taco Fall and your starting center be Hakeem Olajuwon, and then move Marc Gasol to your backup 5 and then go Hakeem as your backup 4. So your 10-man rotation could look something like this off the bench, right? Or 10-man rotation, you know, Ron Artest, Vince Carter, Thurl Bailey, Taco Fall, Hakeem, starting lineup, and then off the bench, Huda Turkoglu, Ricky Davis, Brian Scalabrine, Marcus or Hakeem Dirk at the backup 4, and then Marc Gasol at the backup 5. That's how I would structure your team. Now, if you want to make an upgrade with 500k besides Taco Fall, there's not really too much you can do, to be honest. You can maybe go after I would just get Taco Fall, to be honest. I would just get Taco Fall, play him at your starting power forward position, and then use a 10-man, like I said, for your squad. Now, looking at the next team here, coming in from None, he's got about 133,000 MT. Looking at his squad for rating, I mean, I would say KCP is a little bit weird in the backcourt there, but I'd say probably an 8.5 to maybe 9 out of 10. I think I can't give you a 9 though because of KCP, so I'm gonna probably stick with an 8.5. For the upgrades, 130,000 MT. You can't do a whole lot with that, but I definitely think you can upgrade KCP to a guy like a Ricky Davis, a Luol Deng. I think both those options are a lot better than KCP. And even though I do like Gilbert Arenas a ton, I think he's a great point guard. I just like Huda Turkoglu and Jalen Rose that much more. So I'd maybe look to get a Huda Turkoglu to play over Gilbert Arenas, and then look to get a Ricky Davis to play over KCP. But all around, a very well-rounded squad. Looking at the next team here, coming in from Jay, he's got 400,000 MT. He's got the Dark Matter Chet Lock-in, so he's going to have probably the best small forward in the game, or one of the best small forwards. All around, a really good team. I would say a 9 to maybe 9.5 out of 10. I'm not sure how much you like cards like Paul George and Joel Embiid. For me personally, I'm like not the biggest fan of your two centers. I know you can't sell them, but I would actually look to get Marc Gasol and Brook Lopez to play your two center positions. I think they're better than Sabonis and Joel Embiid. If you really like Embiid, you could probably slide him to the 4 and then, you know, maybe get rid of Thurl Bailey or something like that. But I would get Marc Gasol or Brook Lopez. I get both of them to play your 2 center positions. Power forwards are good. Small forwards are good. I personally like a Ricky Davis or maybe even a Vince Carter if you wanted to over a card like Paul George. And then your 2 point guards I like as well. I do like J.R. Smith and Shea. I think they're both great point guards. So I think mainly look to get a Ricky Davis over a Paul George, and then look to mainly get a Marc Gasol and a Brook Lopez to play your 2 center positions. But other than that, a really good all-around team. Looking at the next squad here, coming in from Yao Ming for 3. He's on current gen and does have 200,000 MT. Another amazing squad. He's got Bull, Vince Carter, Taco, Yao. Some of the best cards in the game in your starting lineup. Tim Thomas coming off the bench. I'd maybe look to get like a defensive point guard, off the bench instead of KPJ, whether that's even like a Ben Simmons, if you want to go for his Titans or his Gaglisiopo version, whether you want to go for a Jalen Rose. I think he's a really good option. Even a guy like a Ousmane Dieng, just a guy that's going to give you height. I'd probably go Jalen Rose. Height and defense is what you need because you got Tim Thomas to run your offense off the bench. So I would get Jalen Rose to play over KPJ. Other than that, though, I think your squad's perfectly fine. I would maybe look to start Hakeem over Taco Fall, just because I think you want to have that one giant off the bench in case they have a Yao Ming or a Manute Bol or a Taco Fall off their bench. You're going to struggle a little bit with only having Dikembe and Hakeem. So I would look to actually start Hakeem Olajuwon over Taco Fall and then bring Taco off the bench so you have enough size off that bench to combat a guy like a Taco Fall. And if they have like these really tall players off the bench, that's what I do for your squad. Is just look to get Jalen Rose and then start Hakeem Olajuwon over Taco Fall. But looking at the next squad here, coming in from Rubito, I think it's how you say his name, 520,000 MT to work with, and another really solid all-around squad. Like I would say another 9 to maybe 9.5 out of 10. Like this is a really good team. Like your point guards, like your shooting guards, like your small forwards, like your power forwards. Not the biggest fan of your centers. So what I would do personally is look to move Marc Gasol to your starting center position. I would personally sell Sabonis. I just don't really like him too much. But if you do like Sabonis, then you can definitely still run him maybe as your backup center. But I would look to get Taco Fall for your starting power forward position. The fact that Taco is now only 150,000 MT, at least on Xbox, might be a little bit more on PlayStation. But either way, amazing price tag for Taco. So I get him for your starting power forward position, play him next to Marc Gasol at the starting center, and then off the bench, if you want to keep Sabonis, you can play him at the backup 5, or you could go Mitchell Robinson. I personally would go Brook Lopez to play your backup center position. And other than that, I think maybe like a Hero Scalabrine could be a lot better than a Purvis Ellison, so I'd maybe look to get Scalabrine, his hero version, to play over Purvis, but mainly just get Taco Fall and then look for like a Brook Lopez, his Dark Matter, if you don't like Mitchell Robinson or Sabonis that much. But then guys, looking at the last squad here of the video, comes in from Mikey Simba. I think it's how I say his name, 450,000 MT, and he says he's willing to sell and replace anybody. Another amazing squad here. Ben Simmons, Vince Carter, amazing backcourt. Brian Scalabrine, Taco, Yao Ming. I would say very similar to, I think it was this squad, right? These are very, very similar squads. What I would do once again is start Hakeem Olajuwon over Taco Fall, just so you have more height and more size to come off the bench in case you match up against a really tall Taco Fall, Yao Ming, Manute Bol, Chet, Bull, these type of cards. I would do that, start Hakeem Olajuwon over Taco, and then have Taco and Dikembe in your backup front court. Other than that, 450k, I would probably go ahead and get a Ron Artest to play over Sean Livingston. And that's pretty much it. I would just get Ron Artest for your backup point guard spot, and I think you are pretty much good to go. But let me know in the comment section down below, like I said earlier, what your guys' team's looking like, how much MT you guys have, and I'll try to get to as many teams as possible and give you guys my best suggestions. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.